Bracing my knee. Just trying to get a little comfortable after I took my Tylenol, um, arthritis medicine, and I'm just bored. But I was watching these videos about men and women clashing against each other again. How how men hate the modern woman and the woman hate the modern man. Women are not, finding relationships, and men are not finding relationships. Men are mad because women are working. Um, Women are owning their own businesses. They want to be more independent. They want to be more strong. They're not cooking and cleaning. They're not doing what they're supposed to do, which I'm trying to figure this out. I mean, now please do not take me wrong, and I don't want to hear no weird ass comments. I just want to ask a question. If anybody knows, when did this shit all start? Because I know we're not living in the 1940s and the 1950s. You know what I mean? Because I know that's the tradition of the woman catering to her man. And most likely that women did that were mostly black. Now, I know white women did cater to their husbands, but most of the time, white women had a little bit of courage of standing up to their man, after a while, try to get a divorce, even though they couldn't, try to take the kids and move to the mom house. And, what I mean? See, black women were the only ones that dealt with this, commandment that is in the Bible, I guess, because I never seen it in the Bible, but people are telling me that, the man rules, man was born first. I still don't believe in Adam and Eve. I still don't believe in God. You know what I mean? But I say that we're not God, because how do we judge, a woman of what she wants to do with her life, and man think that we can just jump on a woman and tell her what to do. I'm trying to figure out where does this begin, because way before money even existed, it was going both ways of being. If the woman would take care of the family, it's like the man would take care of the family, because men would die, so men would have to. They would die, be buried, and the woman, probably couldn't be remarried, or she had to take care of the family. That means she had to take care of the son, the daughter, probably the mother, take care of the home, and take care of all the things that she needed to take care of, because, she couldn't find a man after her husband died. So she had to become the breadwinner. And a lot of women did become breadwinners after their husbands died. Remember war, World War One, World War Two, Civil War, Revolutionary War, and a lot of other wars that happened that, women had. There were a lot of, you know, men think that single women just happened in the year 2000, and didn't happen about at least of all the wars that we had combined, of all the women that became single and had to be single mothers, because they had to take care of the responsibility of raising the child or children by themselves because their husbands were dead, from war. And it's not just, World War One, World War Two, Civil War, Revolutionary War. We might as well go way back. Way before money was ever invented. Way before trade. Did you know the woman actually took care of her man because she had to? Because you gotta understand, who gets sick? Does men? But men don't get sick. We don't get sick. We don't get sick at all. Like, we don't get sick to the point that we can die. Who's supposed to take care of us? Because see, one thing about us men, and I tell you the truth, and I always think this is the truth. We want our moms. Once our moms pass away, or our moms, once we leave our mothers' houses, and we listen to our mothers and our, no, really, honestly, not our mothers. We listen to our grandmothers more than we listen to our mothers. Our grandmothers will tell us, "Oh, you need to find a woman that can take care of you, that will cook, clean, wash dishes while you work." And I'm like, I look at my grandma. I'm like, okay, well, that's the future. I mean, I'm still young. That could change. Women could change by the time I get older. I was born in the '70s. You know what I mean? So, I was raised in the '80s, and and I was an adult in the '90s, and I seen it all. I seen women becoming independent in the '80s, really more likely because they started moving up into the corporate world. They started loving money. See, this one thing about us men, between the difference between women. Women love money. Us men always talk about we work, work, work. Yes, but we don't work, work, work. Like, this is what I mean by working. How much do we make to take care of a family? Just tell me, how much do we make taking care of a family? You're not a billionaire. You're not a millionaire. So basically, you're working odd jobs, or you're making money just to survive. Like, the woman that you were with didn't force you to marry her. You know, you married her because you think that you want to start a family. But knowing that some men don't understand starting a family is the hardest motherfucking thing to do besides having children. You know, because once you have children, you know it's all over with because now you're not just taking care of the woman, you're also taking care of a child. And see, this is the reason why I get sick and tired of my men. We complain so much about women having kids, but we're the ones that want family. So we know what's going to happen once we have family. The family is not going to stick together. The family might break up, or we're going to try to force the family to be together because we think that we should have a family under God, right? This is what we believe in the Bible. This is what our family's been reading to us, like grandmother's been reading to us for ever since we were little. We were going to churches all the damn time. And what does the Reverend teach you? The Reverend teach you, the woman is underneath the man. Adam versus Adam, then it's Eve, and then you supposed to take care of Adam, and Eve is supposed to, the one is supposed to take care of the child. But I never understood why us men complain so much about women, knowing this was going to happen. Women were going to turn independent. There was you can't you never going to stop a woman turning independent. And I told you it's because of the financial now. It's money. Women are turning more into what they are now than they were back when I was growing up. Because like I said, you could talk to a woman, you could be with a woman. You could be a woman could be independent and you could be independent. And women will never judge you. You would never judge a woman being who she is. You could have kids. I'm not saying that families work like, perfectly back when you were growing up. No, sometimes parents didn't work great, so they will break up, and then they will be single. Then the mom and the dad had to split ties of the child, or the children, you know what I mean? And but today's generation of women, you can't get mad at them. Like, why would women just want to stop and just want men to take care of them? Are fathers teaching their daughters? Tell me this. That's the only thing I always want to understand. Are fathers teaching their daughters to find an independent man? I mean, to find a man to take care of, to cook, clean, do dishes. Is a father teaching his daughter that? Please tell me, because I know it's going to be some men out there lying, saying, "Oh yeah, I teach my daughter." No, you don't. You don't teach your daughter to have no man tell your daughter what to do. Because number one, a father will never will be. It's hard for a father to tell his own daughter what to do because he's so close to his daughter. To see his daughter leave off with a man that's going to be very, very, very demanding of her, telling her, "Oh well, since you're not cooking and cleaning, get the hell out." Okay, but I got kids I take care of for you. You know, I pick them up from the daycare center. I take them to the football practice, soccer practice. I cook dinner when they come home. I'm tired too. You know what I mean? Regardless if you thinking I'm not doing nothing. No, that's what I always believed in. Always think that women don't do nothing all day. Women do things all day. They take care of the house. They have well, that's what they do when they're married. They have to take care of the home, right? So why is it wrong that the woman is not doing what the man is doing? Because men always talk about, well, I work, work, work. I say, yeah, women work too. Women don't work hard as men when they're home all day. Of course they're not. They're gonna wash the dishes. They're gonna do laundry, keep the house clean. They're gonna be bored for the rest of the fucking day. What are they gonna do for the rest of the day? Once they're finished cleaning, once they finish, now they're gonna be watching soap operas. They're gonna be talking to their girlfriends on the phone. And this is the reason why women cheat. Women cheat because they get bored and they get lonely. You know what I mean? And they think that being a housewife is boring. And then they go start creeping and start doing things on the side. And then us being called women cheaters, liars, and all the other kind of stuff. But men forget that women cheat because they get bored. You know what I mean? They don't like being in the house. They're not going to wait for their husband to do 10 hours of work or just be a trucker driving all across the country thinking that they're not going to be out there doing things to excite them. Yeah, they take care of their kids, but what about their kids get older? What if the kids start going outside and start doing stuff on their own? Then they're home by themselves. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to think they're going to stay home all day, wait for their husband to come home? I mean, they're not in the military. I mean, they're not going to be sitting up there trying to not cheat on their husband, knowing that it's against the law in the military to cheat on their husbands. See, one thing about it is when they're living a life, living in this world of taking care of their husband, it's hard for them. You know, you are. They always say is that why does us men believe that women is our mothers? We have moms. Why can't we go home to our mother and say, "Mom, can you cook this for me? Watch this." Because we have mothers. That's the reason why we were born. We were born with a woman that always protected us, always loved us, always showed us the world. You know what I mean? Of how to survive. You know what I mean? Even we didn't have our dad in our life. And this is the funny thing about us, man. We always blame women for not having a father in their life, but we never blame the father for not being in our lives, being in a child's life. Because sometimes men will leave the household and never come the fuck back. Sometimes men will leave the household because they don't love the woman or the man will leave the household because he don't want the child no more, or he don't want to be a father. You know what I mean? It has happened. You know what I mean? And I don't believe why us men want to force women to be in a relationship with them. I'm not going to be in a relationship that's unhappy. I'm sorry. Y'all can do that. If you want your girl or your wife to stay with you and she cheated on you 10 times and you think that, oh, well, she cheated on me 10 times, but she still should help me take care of the child, that's something wrong with you. Like, I would not be with a woman that cheated on me 10 times. The relationship is fucking terrible. I'm unhappy. I'm depressed. You know what I mean? All I'm doing is paying bills, and all she's doing is spending my money on shit. And I'm supposed to keep that woman in my life after I've, done everything for this woman. And now she's doing nothing for me except going and sleeping with probably my best friend or probably my brother or probably somebody that, I don't even fucking know. I find out she's cheating. She's on these websites. I mean, come on now. I'd rather be by myself to be with, the one thing I always say, I'd rather be by myself to be unhappy with somebody because if that person's unhappy, that person's gonna cheat. That person's gonna lie. That person's gonna steal. You know, that person's gonna be a narcissist. That person's gonna make sure that I don't be happy. And regardless of me taking care of the kids, she don't give a fuck. The chick could be right there. She'd be cursing me out. Because she's unhappy with the relationship. And I'm not going to force a woman to be in a relationship with me that's unhappy. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. I don't care if I'm married. I don't care if I've been with that woman for 30 to 40 years. If she's unhappy, I'm going to leave her alone. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and try to force her to have a happy home. It doesn't happen like that. You know what I mean? You can't tell a grown woman what to do. You can't tell a grown man what to do. And this is what men are trying to do, especially today's age men. And I believe that today's age men that's a little bit younger than me, that's in their early 40s and probably in their 30s, thinking that they have to have a woman that's young that they can control. Because they want to get a woman that's young, they want to get a woman that's fertile, they want to get a woman that doesn't do nothing in her life, or probably doesn't have a father in life. And I probably always believe that some men out there look for women without fathers because you know why? It's much easier to control them. Because they become the father. They become the breadwinner. They become the one that takes care of them. They're the ones that take care of the house, pay the bills, and all that kind of stuff. That's why I always say, why do men always complain about women not having fathers? But I think men look for women that don't have fathers because it's much easier to control the woman without a father because she has no discipline. Now she's around her mom. Her mom's not going to teach her the discipline of, loving a man. A man's going to teach a woman how to love a man. That's what it's going to be. Like, or find the right man because the man that the father is, he's going to teach his daughter to find somebody like him that works, that has credibility in, you know, um, teaching, her how to, or not, but protecting her and everything like that, like a man should. But see, you have all these false, that's why I always believe that men that are younger are searching for younger women that are easier to control. You know what I mean? They're not gonna search for an older woman. I never hear these men ever talk about older women because the only thing they always hold on to is saying, well, these younger women, all they do is, want to sit around a house and be on the internet and be models on the internet. But you never hear them talk about older women. You never hear them say, well, this is what the older woman is doing. This is the older woman. I mean, I hear a lot of younger guys not liking older women. And if they do like older women, they're only liking the older woman because the older woman is actually has more is like more straight up to tell them the truth than a younger female that will hide behind, her lies. And that's the problem with me. Is the lies, is the not being trustworthy, and women that just are unhappy with themselves. You know what I mean? And I would love a date a woman that had a father in her life because a father will show her the bridge is, show her the way across the bridge or help her climb Mount Everest so she could meet a man that will actually not just be independent with her but actually can grow with each other, actually can have a child together and have a family. Because having sometimes these single women, sometimes they don't teach their daughters how to be strong independent women. They teach them how to be, laid up with a man that's going to have a whole bunch of money. See, now they want to know why women are looking for men with money, because their moms sometimes make them look for money. Find men with money, and that's the reason why I'm like, why do men always complain about women not having money? Because if you want to find a woman that has money, all she's gonna do, I mean, you want to find a woman that only want a guy all she wants a guy with money, she's gonna be in your pockets. You know what I mean? She's gonna gold dig you. And one thing about a father being in a daughter's life, he's gonna make sure he talks to her about doing that. And I believe that a lot of these young guys, and I'm gonna say it again, are looking for these young women that don't have a father in their life because that's all I hear they talk about. Oh, they don't have a father in their life. Oh my God, they don't not being raised right. So why are you dating these women that don't have no fathers in their lives? And then you want to complain about the man, complain about the female that don't have the father in their life. Oh, she don't have a dad. Oh my God, yeah, but you're married to her. Like you had kids by this woman, and she didn't have no father. But now you want to see. That's why I said men want to be fathers. I always believe that men want to be fathers to the women that they have in a relationship. Because there's no way in the world that a man will not let a woman be a little bit independent with herself and not let her hold it down and let her do things on her own. Because you can't teach a daughter's always going to learn how to be independent when she's by herself. Because little girls are mostly by themselves more than boys are. So they're learning. They learn how to be independent. They learn how to be by themselves. They're not afraid to be by themselves. But you got us guys, we're afraid to be by ourselves. We don't want to be. Sometimes I don't believe that we're so afraid of losing our women to other men. We complain. Honestly, I don't think that us men are starting to be more like women anyway because we're starting to complain more. I'm seeing more of us men complain about women than us just saying, okay, let's stay single and let the women suffer. But we don't let women suffer. We just sit there and complain, complain, complain. Oh my God, she's not doing this for me. She's not doing this for me. She's not cooking for me. She ain't cleaning for me. She ain't washing the dishes. She ain't doing this. She ain't doing that. But you gotta understand, just because you work, you still gotta spend time with your woman. You still gotta love your woman. You still gotta treat your woman with respect. You still gotta treat your woman with all the things that you promised her before you married her. But a lot of men doesn't want that. A lot of men just want control. And that's what makes me mad. And I'm not saying that men should meet with a woman that's gonna fucking tell her what to do. Yeah, yeah, this, and this. No, I mean, men should be able to say, "Fuck, I'm not gonna, what the fuck you talking about? Who you talking to?" But it's some men out there that don't. Some men are weak. Yes, there's some men out there that are weak, but I believe men are getting weaker because we're complaining too much about women. I never seen so many videos about us men complaining about women. That's all I see. Men complaining off and on. Why are women doing this? Why are women not doing this? Why are women not doing this? Women are not dating. Women don't want no kids. Women want to be independent. Women want to make all this money. I want to be the breadwinner. I want to be the head of the household. Well, you can be the head of the household. Nothing's going to change about a man being the head of the household, even if he does make money. Even if he does, let his wife become, independent. She's not going to change. So why would you change? Why would you not still be the head of the household? Just because you want to make the money, and just because you want to sit there and say, "Well, I'm the head of the household. I make all the money," because I think it's a power trip. Sometimes it's us men. We like power trips. We like to be in control. We like power. And I believe our mothers, like I said, we are descended from our mothers, never taught us to be that way. We never were taught how to love. We were never taught how to love a woman. We were never taught how to love a woman. What man? Tell me what woman, what mother ever taught her son how to love a woman? How? When? When? When did a man ever teach? When is a woman ever been taught by her father to love a man? Tell me. Only to love him. The daughter only was taught how to love her own father and the men in her family, just like a son is taught how to love his mom and the females in his family. He was never taught how to love a woman that is not part of his family. And this is what I get sick and tired of men. We think that this is what we're supposed to do. This is what God is supposed to give us. This is what God told us to do. We need to be married and we need to have children and we need to be the ones to be the breadwinner because God doesn't care about money. God doesn't care about material. He didn't create material. He didn't create money. He didn't create cars. He didn't create the houses. He didn't create any of these things except the land and the earth that we live on, right? Man created all these things, right? So we are the only ones that can buy this stuff material, which is money, right? So us complaining about women, and us saying that we are working out there every day. Yes, us men, we work very, very hard. We work very hard, and I believe that us men are not happy. We should be single and keep our money in our bank account. If we believe women are such these bad things and women are demons and all this other kind of stuff that men are starting to believe, we should just be single and keep our money in our own bank account. and just be happy with ourselves, man. We don't need to be happy with nobody, dog. We don't need to force ourselves to be happy with somebody. We don't need to force ourselves to be a father, to be a baby father to a woman that does not give a fuck about us except child support. But see, us men are trying our best. It's so hard to get the woman back into our lives to take care of a son or take care of a daughter. Knowing us men should be able to do that ourselves because we were also taught how to raise kids because we babysat when we were younger. Men forgot all about that. We used to babysit our brothers and our sisters and stuff like that, when we were younger. So we had to learn how to take care of spouses too. So it's not like that we don't know how to take care of a child, but only thing that we're going to need help with the child because we're not going to know everything about taking care of a child like a woman does. But the thing is, us men, we just want control. We want to be in control of everything. We want control the money, the house, the just everything. And we want women to do things like we are living back in the 1960s. And men have to understand we're not living in the 1960s or 1940s no more. That time is gone. And these younger generation of women are not going to stop changing for us. They're not going to change their whole lifestyle or change their whole independence for us just because we're upset about them not doing what we want them to do. We want them to bow down to us. No woman's going to bow down to no. I tell no woman, don't bow down to no fucking man, and no man bow down to no woman. You know what I mean? We're not supposed to do that. And the only time that we're supposed to bow down to our women if we love our women and we are married to our women and we supposed to take care of our family and we made a promise to take care of our wives and our children. This is a promise that we keep. Now women will say, okay, bet since you want to take care of the household, you want to be the head of the household, go ahead, do it. But some women don't want that. Some women just want to be independent. Some women just want to be strong by themselves, make their own money. They'll tell their husband, "Listen, we can split this down the middle. We could be both, take making money together." But see, us men are so jealous of our women. We're jealous. We don't want women to make more than us, and women really, honestly, don't make more than men. So I don't know why men keep thinking that women are going to make $1 billion. Well, women are there billionaires out there, but what I mean. Most of the women got their money from their husbands, but the thing or their fathers. But the thing is that we're not dating billionaires, and women are not married to billionaires. We're making like minimum wage money to take care of a family, but we're sitting here complaining about women taking our money and cheating on us. Of course, they desire money, and when they desire money, they want more money. And if you're not making that much money, they're gonna actually go somewhere else to get that. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck if they do got kids. They don't give a fuck if you are like you got a business and shit like that. They don't care. They want what they want. Now, if you got a good woman that don't give a fuck, that loves you and just desires only you, and she will not care about money, and all she wants to do is have a family, that's one in a billion. But like I said, I wanted to make this video short. Wow, only 23 minutes. That's good. Uh, I'll give a shout out to everybody out there. Man, keep your head up. Men, stop trying to make women feel like they have to go back in time because we're not living in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, man. And even the women in the 1900s didn't even fucking deal with men. Even in the 1700s and the 1600s, women didn't play around with men. Like, they will actually kill their husbands. You know what I mean? They will fight their husbands. You gotta understand, it's difference. It's a difference. Even in the 90s, even in the 2000s, women will fight their husbands. Women will fight their men. It's just that men today we're so upset that the way the woman turned. But I always think it's a lot of older men like me. We don't care. We don't care. We already know. We've been there, done that. We've seen everything in front of us. We've seen all the women that are gold diggers. We saw all the women that were, that got that did what they had to do to make money, take care of their kids. They're married for like 20, 30 years. But it's a day's new generation of men that complain too much about this new generation of women. If you want a real woman, go after an older woman. Stop trying to mess with these pretty big booty influencer women, because that's what these guys go after anyway. They believe they could chase these influencer women into women that can cook and clean. Are you serious? These women are walking around with wearing tight clothes ever since they were teenagers, and us men think we could change them into house cleaners. Like, they're not going to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, they'll probably do it for a few months, maybe a year, and after that, they're going to be like, man, what the fuck am I doing? This is not me. Like, I need to go and do what I've been doing. Go back to my influence and shit, or go back to what I used to be before I became a wife. Because women don't want to be wives anymore. Women want to be just have a man in their life, try to be happy, have a couple of kids, or maybe have a child, and after that, they'll see what's going to happen. They're going to be with that man for the rest of their life. They'll make that choice. But us men can't make that choice for a woman, and that's all we try to do. We always try to make choices for women by trying to force them to love us. It's like we try to force our own mom to love us after our mom has been talking to us for years. We always want to ask our mom, why don't you talk to me anymore? Why don't you love me anymore? Because we want our mothers, we want a woman just like our mom. We want a woman exactly like our mother. And it's embarrassing to be chasing a woman because we are looking for the woman that cooks clean, do dish, or we're looking for our grandmother. You know, it's a shame. Like, this is the reason why I'm single. This is the reason why I'm going to stay single for the rest of my life. I don't need all this. Number one, I'm 50 years old. Number two, I don't want to deal with a young woman because it's not because of their attitude and the way they carry themselves. It's just that I love older women, and I don't see myself in a relationship anyway because I feel that I've been through my relationships. I've been through my time of being around women and doing my thing, being a pimp, clapping cheeks and doing all this other kind of stuff. And it's old. It's old. As you get older, you just like, what is the point? You know, to me, relationship is just like a fucking job. You know what I mean? You gonna keep the job or you gonna get fired, or you gonna get laid off. It's no difference. That's why I always believe that uh relationships are jobs. You get hired from the female, you get hired from the dude, and next thing you know, you gotta make sure that you're on time, that you're doing everything right to keep your job. And if you don't do everything right to keep your job, you get fired or you get laid off, or you know, I mean, I just why I don't want to go and be in a relationship anymore. I'm done. I'm done with the command and control and tell me where I'm going, where what time I'm going to come back. I believe we are free. We always talk about us black people, we were slaves, but when we got our freedom, we believe us black men still believe that women are slaves, and that's the reason why I don't want to be in a relationship, because us black men has never changed um from being slaves until now, because like I said before, our mothers are the ones that baby us, protected us. So we look for the same thing from a fucking woman that we never met or we're getting to know. We've been with for like 2 months or 3 months. Then we ask her to marry us after 2 months, expecting her to follow my directions and my commands, knowing this woman like I never had no man tell me what the fuck to do, and I'm not gonna have no man tell me what to do. And she runs off and she ends up cheating on you because she doesn't want to be in that type of relationship. Like, she probably thought she was gonna be in a relationship that's gonna make her happy, because some women do want to get married. Some women want to have experience of having kids, but once they do, they just like, nah, it's not for me, and then they just walk off. And men do the same thing too. They experience the life of marriage, and next thing you know, they go and cheat on their wife with some woman that's probably a family friend or something like that. Men do the same thing. We cheat too. See, us men, we always think that we are just such non-cheaters. We're the biggest cheaters on the planet. I mean, but we don't see it as that. We blame the woman for everything, and I'm sick and tired of blaming the woman for everything. 'Cause like I said, if you had a mother, you would respect your women because you respected your mom. You would never let your mom be disrespectful by any man. You will never let your daughter be disrespected by any man. So why would you disrespect the woman that you're with? It doesn't make any sense. Bless everybody.